Hey everybody, Bart with Bicycle Rider YouTube, and I've got a really cool e-bike here. This is the IZIP Vita. So this is it's a nicer e-bike. I really like this. It seems like us here in Biloxi Bicycle Works, we like this bike. This is probably one of our favorite e-bikes in the shop. We do sell, several different brands, several different models, but all of us seem to like this bike. It seems to be smooth. Of course, we sell some hub drive motors, 750 watt peak watts and 500 watt sustained stuff. Those things are pretty awesome because they're fast, they're powerful. But for the regular person who wants to get on a bike and feel a smooth assist, it seems like this is a good bike for it. Of course, it does have a premium drive system. It's the Bosch active drive system. So the active drive is kind of a tune for more of a realistic motor feel, as far as if you did want to, a lot of people come into the shop and they said, look, I want to ride a bike like a bicycle, but use the, the performance of the e-motor when I need it. It seems like people get pretty spoiled with just using the motor sometimes on some of these bikes. But this bike is a class 1, so it does not have the throttle. That means you have to pedal this bike. It's got a cadence sensor in it. So as you start pedaling the cranks, it kicks in. Some of the other e-bikes we have seem like it kick in pretty hard, even on level 1. This bike has a few different modes to it. The first is an eco mode, and when you put this in eco mode, you feel it just smoothly kick in. If you put it on turbo mode, of course, the 50 Newton meters of torque kick in, but it still does feel very smooth. One thing I like about the Bosch active drive system is it keeps the weight of the bike down. I don't have a scale in here, but compared to some of the other e-bikes, the hub drive motor bikes that we see with big watt hour batteries, this bike is manageable. We had a lady get on this bike yesterday, and it was important to her that if the bike were to come over, she could easily push this bike back up. And it seems like where this bike kind of, maybe it doesn't have, in specs wise, it doesn't have the biggest motor, it doesn't have the biggest battery, but what it does have is rideability. This bike rides really nice and it's easy to handle. I have to say, a lot of people coming in for these e-bikes are people that are traveling in motorhomes, traveling the country, and they're not pulling an extra car with them anymore. They throw a couple e-bikes either on a rack or inside the motorhome, and they can go see the city that they're touring in, kind of in a more manageable fashion. This bike is easy to put up in a motorhome. I helped a guy the other day put this one into his motorhome. He didn't have a bike rack. We were able to manage this up the stairs, past the couch, and into the back bedroom where he was going to travel with it. So having a lighter bike, I think is easy to handle. So if you did have to maybe slip and catch yourself, this bike is much lighter to push yourself back up. If it happened to fall on you, and we do get e-bikes falling on people. Not saying you couldn't get hurt, but I'm just saying that this bike is much easier to push off you or you to crawl out from underneath it if you need to. I'm about 150 pounds, so I'm not a big guy. I can easily pick up this bike, move it around, and if you're older or a little bit frail, this is something to consider. A lot of times in America, it's always about how fast, how big, how powerful. I have to be honest with people, and I tell people, the e-bikes are getting too fast. They're getting too powerful, and they get cumbersome. So sometimes don't always just look at specs of a bike and say which one has the biggest battery and which one is the fastest. Think about realistically what's going to suit your purposes. E-bike is supposed to be fun. This is a comfort design, something that's made to go around town, urban, to go exploring with. You don't need to do that at 28 miles an hour most of the time. I'm a bike racer. I've spent a lifetime to go 20 plus miles an hour on a bike. This bike right here with this active Bosch active line motor does have a 400 watt hour battery. So if you're in turbo mode and you're not putting a whole lot of effort into the pedals, you could, you know, get 20 plus miles out of this bike going pretty fast. If you're in eco mode, you can double that. So you can go 40, maybe 50 miles on this bike. And it all depends. There's a calculator Bosch gives you about how much input, about how heavy you are if you're riding into the wind. So the how far question, let me just tell you, this is a comfortable seat, but really realistically, this bike will go further than your butt wants to sit on the seat. Most people traveling on an e-bike aren't going to do 20 to 40 miles at a pop. You unload this out of your car, you go cruise around town, you find a cool coffee shop, you find a beach, you find a bookstore. You have fun on these type of bikes. So don't always look at the specs. I really like the IZIP because of the quality build. It's smooth, it looks nice, it's lightweight, has a great motor in it. So it's a mid-drive motor. Once again, I'll call it Bosch Active Drive. It means quality. It means they're going to back you up if you have a problem with it. It's got a Pure-On display. So this tells you the basics, tells you how much battery power you have left. It can calculate how much battery power you have left to go. You know, if you're driving and you're wondering, if I have 15 miles left, look at this. It'll tell you if you've got 15 plus miles left on it. It'll tell you your speed, tell you your distance. You can hook up this to an app on your phone and get more information, but keep it simple, keep it fun, keep it comfortable, and that's what the IZIP Vita is all about. It does have a raised handlebar that's swept back, so when the handlebar is swept back, it keeps your back straight, so you can ride in a very comfortable position. You can see in front of you. You're not having to reach for a flat bar. So that's what a curved bar does. Has a little rise to it. And it does have an adjustable stem. So depending on your body type or what type of comfort situation you want, you could raise that stem up. You can pull it forward. It makes it really nice. There's a lot of nice features of this bike too. This has a 9-speed drivetrain. It's got Tetra hydraulic brakes. It is definitely best to buy this bike from a bike shop and have people who know what they're doing show you how to use the gears, show you how to use the brakes. I see a lot of people on e-bikes riding around in one gear. The motors are powerful enough, they do allow you to do that, but believe me, it's like riding your car in 5th gear the whole time. You do put a lot of tension on the chain and gears and components. If you roll through your gears sensibly, you get a lot more wear out of these bikes. And that's where a bicycle shop is going to be paramount in making sure you get the right size bike and helping you before and after the sale. I do own a bike shop, so I'm a little, you know, I love to help people with their bikes, and we do get a lot of people that buy their bikes off of the internet in different places, and they all come in here for help. We try to help them as well, but it's always nice when you can get help in the beginning and not develop bad habits. Real quick, the IZIP Vita is a great bike. It's about $3,000, so it's not an inexpensive bike, but it's not on the high end of the price points either. Definitely consider this bike if you want a cool bike to cruise around on. Maybe if you've got a smaller frame like myself, this bike is fun. It will go 20 miles an hour, so even the 750 watt motor bikes will go 20 miles an hour until you start kicking into it. It's definitely a fun bike, and it is definitely more of a regular bike than some of what we see with a hub drive motor and a big battery off the front. So don't let the specs scare you. If you have any questions, or if you're close to Biloxi, Mississippi, if you're local, come in here and let me and my staff help you with this bike. If you have any questions, hit me up on the YouTube channel and we'll try to point you in the right direction. But you know, I personally like the IZIP Vita, and I am a guy that like V8s. You know, I like fast boats. I like fast cars. You don't, when you're looking at an e-bike like this, don't always just look at the most powerful, fastest bike you can get. If you want a bike for just comfort and cruising around, this is a great bike for it. Hit us up at the shop. We'd be glad to set you straight. Thank you.